p.m. to 6 p.m. Live, Lizzie, live. 1690 a.m. The one. We're in Omaha, Nebraska, and let's see, what's the weather like today? Extremely, extremely overcast. Got up to 36 degrees, which is good. And we had a few flurries, some dusting, as they would say, but nothing too much. Um, what are we talking about today? Well, today is the first debut segment of Brothers Are Doing It, and I have a wonderful guest, Mr. Houston McKeel III, and we'll hear from him in a moment. He's actually going to be chatting with me for the duration. He has a guest over there. What's the guest name?
D. McHale.
D. McHale says that we don't want to hear anything that he has to say, but I think that we might be able to pull something out of him. What kind of week did I have? My week, finally, the water heater was about to blow up on the 14th, and so we finally found out what was the problem, and we had a big issue with getting the right water heater. If it could go wrong, it went wrong. They brought in a new water heater. It was cracked. So they had to take that water heater back. Then they brought in another water heater, and it was ginormous. It was for a mansion, and it couldn't fit in the utility closet. Meanwhile, I don't have any hot water, so I'm, doing the old camping thing. And my brothers know me, and so I wash my hair like almost every day. I have that kind of hair, so I called my brother in Chicago, and I said, I'm turning into a black girl. I said, I'm doing the and taking the pencils and scratching like, oh, you haven't washed your hair in how long? I said, it's been 4 days. They're like, oh my. So they know me, right? So I was having a real problem. And then it got so bad that I just decided to go and get the biggest pot I have. I'm single, so mine was about this big. Filled it up with hot water and just threw it on my head. Like, because I couldn't take it any longer. But finally, Friday night at 8 p.m., I got hot water, woo for the people. But also, and I'm telling you, during that entire time, I wanted to actually, snap. But that's not working because, like I told you guys before, I've given my heart to the Lord. So my whole persona is totally different, and my walk is different. But I was really at the point where I don't understand why there's no water heater anywhere in Omaha or even Nebraska by now. But it worked out. And even got a wonderful, I mean, that's why when, you're walking and you're trying to be Christ-like, one of the things that happens to you when you least expect it, unbelievable stuff happens. The water heater gets in. I run over to get my mail, and what happens? There's a letter from the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. They are going to be giving me a settlement because there was a company that I purchased a product from 5 years ago that was deceptive. And so, of course, the FTC won the case because they don't go after people if they know they're not going to win. And so you look at that and you say, wow, the funky devil tried to blow me up. But then again, funky devil, now you got to pay me back. So that's the way it is. We're going to talk to Mr. Houston McHale now. One of the things is that this segment, brothers are doing it, and we are on the air for both of you fellows over there, so you can chat when you feel.
Okay.
The reason why I really wanted to do a Brothers Are Doing It segment, I have several segments. One is Live Ladies Live. The real reason why I'm doing Live Lizzie Live is because I was doing my time, and it was almost, over a year that I've really been in like this spiritual boot camp. God directed me to speak the word and, some other things. And so here I am. So I would never be doing anything like this here. One of the things is that our brothers get a bad rap. There are certain myths that are out there about the brother, a bad rap about the brother. And then brothers, all you see when they put anything on the news is they might choose one brother to speak for all of the brothers if they pick one. And they're not allowed to ever tell, who they are and why they got into certain things. And I met Mr. Houston McHale a while back. He was really, I mean, one of the darkest days of my life. Houston McHale, you didn't know it, but you like shined some big light. I was in that accident where a truck had hit me, propelled me over a cliff. I called the name of Jesus 3 times. Angel grabbed the car, set it down on the shoulder, and the police even thought that I was dead in the car. And because I was alive and walked out and didn't have any, broken limbs or anything, they drove me home. But I came to church that night, and I was like telling everybody, and I said, what's going to happen? They were like, you're going to be sore, you're going to hurt. And then you said, you got some, what did you tell me? You got some
Epsom salt in a hot bath.
Yeah, and you said put a lot of it in there.
Yeah.
Man, I put so much in there.
Yeah.
And guess what? I never, ever got that pain that people say.
Yeah.
So, what I want you to do, Mr. McHale, and one thing that I want people to know is, tell us something about you. How do you, where were you born? Were you in Omaha? And what's up with you?
All right. Yeah, this the dark side coming to the light now.
Okay. Come on, light. This is what we do in here.
Yeah. Well, I was born in Omaha, Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
And shortly after I was born, we relocated with my dad out to Flint, Michigan. So I'm between Flint, Michigan and Omaha, Nebraska. And since he was in the Air Force, so I did all my schooling here in Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay.
From kindergarten to the 12th grade. I've been to 7 different schools out here.
What school you go to?
I went to Lake, Lothrop, Conestoga, Horseman, Morton, Beveridge, and I graduated Tech High.
Horseman is the King
Science Center now.
Yeah,
Right.
all right.
You wonder why I went to 7 schools, because I guess they said, hey, ma'am, he can't come back here. Telling my mom that, yeah. Mm-hmm. So after I graduated Tech High in 82, I left and joined the military out in Los Angeles, California. I ended up catching the end of Lebanon, a little bit of Grenada, a little bit of Burma. Been stabbed in the head a couple of times in the military. I'm a disabled veteran. Mm-hmm. I have around like 10 kids. Been married 3 times,
Mm-hmm.
So
you're a player.
Well, retired ex.
So now this is the difference between the players. There's some that are playing and they got their cards in their back pocket, and some turned in their cards.
Yeah.
Did you turn in your cards?
Mine got revoked.
You got
shredded.
Has a revoked and shredded card.
Yeah, revoked and shredded. Good. Yeah.
So 10 children. How many boys? How many girls?
It's 8 girls and 2 boys. Yeah.
Beautiful. What do their ages range from?
From 31 all the way to 7.
Very good. Okay, so you wound up being back here in Omaha.
Yep.
So what? I mean, L.A. is the sun. I heard the stabbing of the head. You kind of passed over the stabbing of the head, but I guess we might not want to do that one now. So,
right.
But what Omaha? Why? What brought you back to Omaha?
Like out in Los Angeles, it's like you gotta have 2 jobs and a hustle just to really live comfortably, Mm-hmm. And at the time, I was making more money when I got out the military. And so then when I was doing the entrepreneur thing, it didn't work out real. So I decided just to leave my business and leave everything and just come back home, what I call this home. Because the cost of living, if it wasn't for the winter here, this place would be superb. But it was the cost of living really just gave me a chance to slow my life down a little bit. And
there's something about that California Omaha connection that I'm gonna look into that a little bit, because they have the Omaha days, and you have so many people that are coming back from California to Omaha. So it's something going on there. Okay, so how old were you around this time, Mr. McHale?
Well, we even host the Omaha Day out there too. So it's
really?
a lot of folks from Omaha out there. I'm 48 right now.
No, I'm talking about then. We ain't trying to ask you.
Don't
ask
I love it. Yeah.
Okay. I tell them I'm 52, so I tell them all the time.
Yeah.
So how old were you then when you came back? Around how old?
I was 30 maybe.
Okay.
32.
So what did you see? What was Omaha looking like?
It was
as for
really just like I left. It looked the exact same but even like
What's that?
worse.
What's that?
Just
If, you know, if you could, if we
vacant
could
lot. Yeah,
picture it.
vacant lot house.
Really,
Old, decrepit, molded buildings. Nobody in there. Nobody nothing. It's
really.
just it looked the same. That's why when I came here, I used to have a problem remembering a lot with my memory. But I came here and fitted right in because nothing changed in like the
Wow.
13 to 15 years I was gone. It just absolutely nothing changed.
Wow. So you did the children deal, and you came back here and you
Yeah.
did whatever. So we won't span to where you are now,
Okay.
but because right now, because we want to hone in on that a little bit. And so, what did you do? Did you go to work? You said it didn't change. Did you go to work for somebody? Did you try to? Because
Yeah.
you have a really, really wonderful skill.
Oh yeah.
Tell me, what's that skill?
Okay. Well, my skill probably started in like '74. With a minority contractor out here by the name of Cornelius Morgan. He was one of the first minority contractors here in Omaha that was a real big name in the game back in the '70s. And I started out with him, being handing the tools, learning tools,
How old were
helping
you
build
then?
garage. I was probably 6 or something.
So around 6 years old,
Yeah,
you
7,
started learning
8, yeah.
really construction.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, you can say that because it was packing house work, construction work. I guess the minorities really had nice opportunities here back then because it seemed like everybody was working somewhere.
Okay.
Even my mom had a couple jobs. Elevator lady at Brandeis. She was at the Ritz taxi cab place at Western Union. I remember having to go from school and sit with her on some of them jobs she had. So it seemed like everybody back then here was working. Had something going on. It was nice back then.
What about the crime? Do you kind of remember anything about crime then?
Nothing. I mean, it was.
Well, carjackings, muggings.
Nah, I don't never remember none
home
of that.
invasion.
And that's another thing we want to talk about. Like, we have what you call the boys club.
Okay, tell us about that.
Okay, see, the difference between now and then, a boys club took boys and made them into young men, which sort of like the church. If you teach the child up in the way of the church, when he turned, he'll come back. And so the boys club took a young boy and got him on the path to becoming a man. Most of us back in that late 70, early 60, late 70 era, we are like your last generation of folks that don't like to be led around. We don't do the fads. We don't do the trends. We see cats sagging and all of this, and we want to be like them and stuff. We were really set to be little men. We had trades.
Okay, before you go to that part, go back to this boys club deal.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so let me ask you this here: was this an actual spot called the boys club, or just like a side club? Or
no,
whatever.
no.
So tell me about that.
Okay.
How did that go?
The boys club it was an organization where it took only guys. Okay.
What ages were they?
From I would say you had to be about 10 maybe like probably like 10 to about 16.
All right.
Right out of high school kind of thing to high school. And this where you was able to become a man. See, now you got the boys and the girls club. And a man can never be a man around a woman. That just won't do it.
So what did you do when you go to that club? I mean, can you tell us how they make a man, or how they used to make a man? Making of a man.
I'm trying to get back to that because that's where we missing.
Good.
Because first of all, whatever your talents was, this place found it. Whether you was like me, basketball, football, baseball, judo, pool, swimming, track. I mean, just shooting pool, just those kind in a band. So whatever talent you had opportunity to find your talent there as a man.
So where was that located here in Omaha?
It was on 20th and Burdett. Now it's called the Hope Center, maybe.
Oh, over in that area.
Yeah, that building. Yeah.
So, I heard a little bit about that from gentlemen in the community, and I've seen the little T-shirt or whatever
Right.
boys club, and they had a reunion or something that was really good a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And one of the things that they used to talk about, there was a particular fellow there that had a little swim thing that he did that all the boys learned how to swim. He kind of just threw them in the water.
Oh yeah.
And that was kind of
Yeah.
how you
Yeah,
sink
yeah.
or swim.
Yeah, you know.
That'd make a man out of girl.
right,
Girl.
right. Yeah.
So,
You know, and really that those type of things right there. So if you wasn't good at basketball, you just stop that and go to wrestling. If you know, or stop that and just go. It was a place where a man really found his place,
Wow.
something he liked, and we had ultimate mentors like there. You know, nowadays you hear so much little freaky and crazy stuff. I guess we was just blessed not to have that over us like that.
if they were, they kept it hidden.
Yeah.
They went in freaky and dinky some
it
place
was
else.
it was never like now, you know, like
Yeah,
it's
the
okay.
whole crew
Yeah.
has been molested
Yeah.
by the boys
Oh
club.
yeah, none of that. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like if we had an argument or a fight with somebody, somebody would break it up, then we shake hands and we continue playing. You know, you can just from the time you get out of school at 3:00 until 9:00, we all had a place to go to just fight.
Is it 9 o'clock at night?
From 3 to 9 every day.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. You know what? One gentleman told me that something happened where his mom told him, you know what? He said, you're on punishment. He said, all right. Said he grabbed up his sneakers or whatever he was grabbing up to go. She said, hey, you ain't going to the boys club. That was his punishment. He said he cried like a baby. He is 6'4".
Yeah.
You know, 200 some pounds. It was always 6'4",
Yeah.
at least from what they say. He said he cried like a baby.
Yeah.
I mean, just boo-hoo, kicked and cried.
Yep.
Boys club. All right, so so back to the talent. So you
Okay.
took this talent with a skill, and there, you're 6 and you're, getting the wrench and whatever.
Yeah.
So did you take that and mold it, or did you?
Yeah.
What happened with that?
You know, and with that, it taught me patience. It taught me how to work with my hands. It taught me, that if I listened to my elders, I could succeed a little better than most of the other cats that didn't have that opportunity at that time, So it's like I just loved it just to use the saw, the hand saw. We didn't have the power ones yet. The nail, the drilling with the screwdriver. Yeah,
Yeah, did you all hear him? Mr. McKill said there was no power tools then.
Oh, yeah.
So you was able to and no more.
None of that yet. Yeah, 74. Man, my guy, Mr. Boy, we had the hand saw. So you start cutting backwards to get your groove, and then you get the sawing. No matter how long it take to get through that 2x4, that 1x4 or something, and it just, man, it was just lovely back then, and that's kind of just.
Well, let me ask you about some of this. I guess the neighborhoods in Omaha. I'm not from Omaha.
Okay.
So you said everybody was working, there was no crime, and it was like, they had this boys to men club kind of deal, and, it seemed like it was almost like a little Mayberry kind of. Was it segregated then? Was it, was everybody together? Was it black or, what was going on there?
It was, I guess Omaha still to this day is really one of the most segregated places ever, but I guess the North Omaha was our little piece of the pie. Where even I grew up, I ain't never been called boy, or nothing like that, or none of that, because we had our own little networking system right here. And then, like in '79, when they started the busing, they would bus white folks to Horseman at the time. So it was like, hey, we not there. Well, we did get bused in the 7th and 8th grade.
Okay.
But we was welcome. It wasn't you couldn't tell, like the colors used this fountain only and all of that.
Really? Are you kidding?
I'm serious. If it was, I was never. I was the class clown or whatever anyway. So, hey, if they was, I wasn't a victim of it. They love to see me coming.
That is an.
Yeah.
I'm from Chicago, and I remember being calling. I remember being called. Like um, in a lot.
Oh,
Yeah, and then I
wow.
always had his hair was lighter. I dyed
Yeah.
dark,
Oh, yeah.
but half breed. Because what they don't know. Because the worst thing that a lot of Caucasian people felt then, if they thought that you were part of the race mixing, they would rather you be black or white. But they thought that you was something going on, no, you really got it. So yeah, well, you were
Wow.
very, very blessed
Yeah,
with that
yeah,
one.
I was. Yeah, it
So
didn't happen
these
with me
buildings
like
that
that.
are around here, like downtown, you all built those. We had
Well,
black
well,
contractors then,
that
or
I really
how'd that
yeah.
go?
Well, I was watching the channel, and no, I don't really think it was too many black participants at that time until Omaha had this one mayor called Sorson, Mr. Sorson,
Okay, what
and
about him?
that's the street up there, Sorson Parkway.
Oh yeah.
I think he was like one of the first mayors that incorporated a lot of your minority contractors here in Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
And that probably had to be early 60s or something like that, maybe. Maybe a little, yeah, somewhere in
Okay, so
there.
now you can give the people your title. What do
Yeah.
you do now?
Oh, okay.
What's your whole thing
Yeah.
now?
I am what you call the president of North Omaha Contractors Alliance, the one and only.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a lot of imitators out there want to
Oh,
be like me, but
okay.
you can't.
Okay. So what is the North Omaha? Give us a little history on the North Omaha Contractors Alliance. Were they
Okay.
around in the 70s
Well,
or kinda and merged, or how did that go?
okay.
And what do
Well,
they do? Give us a little something on
okay.
that.
This is for the last past 20 years, minority contractors has been trying to organize some type of like voice. Hey, we need some of this work and all of that. Okay. So it started by a group of guys, and we used to meet over in the Elks, and we voted for the president, the vice president,
Mm-hmm.
and the treasurer. I ran for treasurer at the time. I won by unanimous decision.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
just
Charisma. Yeah.
So it's what it was because it's so much work. Don't you know the construction? No matter if you're in a recession or whatever, construction still goes on. The infrastructure, your freeways, your highways,
Mm.
your high rises, your houses. I don't care if it ain't no housing market. You see here in Omaha, they
Mm-hmm.
just built like 100 new homes in the
Mm-hmm.
last 4 years but ain't nobody able to buy them. But we're still building them.
Yeah.
And like on 20th Street, if you go north 20th headed towards the south, it's 5, 6 brand new homes being built now. We have no part of that. The homes prior to that on 20th, we had no part of that.
Well, who has a part of that?
Well, it's
Do you
like
know?
Holy Name Housing.
Okay.
And now a lot of homes going up now is Habitat for Humanity.
That,
And this is what I'm calling the action. All my brothers and sisters here in Omaha, North Omaha, I have 253 members now.
okay.
Okay, I got a lot of new companies because a lot of these older folks, we sort of call folks like Mr. Charlie. Let's just use that for example.
Mm-hmm.
Because a Mr. Charlie will settle for anything.
Mm.
He would not put up a fuss. He would not put up with nothing. But
Mm-hmm.
he'd go look for somebody to do. You speak for us. You speak for us.
Mm.
So all those older cats that just, I don't know. If we don't stand up right now today before this election come up and put it on the table, if you're not going to help us build this place,
Mm-hmm.
then you ain't going to take these seats because we so far behind the curve. They all up and down 20th Street, 24th Street, 16th Street, all these areas where we live.
Mm-hmm.
We sitting on the porch watching the vacant house get tore down.
Let me ask you this here: when you said the Mr. Charlies, because
Yeah.
the segment is called "Brothers Are Doing It,"
Oh,
do you
okay.
really think that brothers are doing it? I mean, do you? Because a lot of times people say, "Well, what we as black people, we need to get organized and we need to come in and we need to, powwow or whatever." But I guess my whole thing is this here. I don't know what other races do, but I don't know. I don't think they have a powwow where everybody goes in off the street and say, "This is what we're gonna do."
No.
So Are you trying to gather people with like minds that say this is the mission, this is what we want to do, because this is something that's going to propel us forward? Or are you going to leave those people,
No.
those
Yeah.
elders,
Those
'cause,
Mr.
that's part of
Charlies.
that's part of our history. They
Right.
always say we're
Right.
supposed to, with our elders, and what's
Right.
your opinion of that with
Well,
the elders?
we just talked about that.
Uh-huh.
No, we are gonna bring them along, but we got to be the front runners on this thing. Because say, look at 24th Street. I think it's 7 organizations on that block between 24th and Ames and 24th and Cummings. It's 7 nonprofit, minority-owned organizations within that little 2-mile span. But it's like a foreign country because don't none of us know each other, or where we might know each other, know of each other, but we don't do nothing together. Look, you got Neighbor Works, you got ODEC, Omaha Economic Development Center, you got OSBN, you got Lutheran Family Services, you got 100 Black Men Unite, you got OIC, you got OSBN. All of those places right there within 2 miles from each other.
But isn't there a plan for all of that to be dissipated, and they're going to change this in? Because didn't they just open this weekend the Carver Bank, and they have the Bemis in there, and Big Mama has her sandwich shop in there. So aren't they trying to change that whole thing into like a jazz something district or something?
You know, Mr. Charlie Dan's good, so we gonna keep him entertaining. But anyway, yeah. And I was just on TV some months prior before the Carver Bank, and I was crying out to my people that, listen, we do need to take control of our area. Because if you know the South Omaha, once you cross over 24th and Dodge, maybe, going that way, you start seeing on South Omaha, every building is occupied by some type of small business. They streets are even looking like little Spanish town. Where's that at? I ain't never even seen old Spanish town, let alone know what the streets look like in Omaha Spanish town. We got to do something about it, because here when you cross back across 24th up north, it's the same old vacant lot, ran down building, vacant lot, ran down building.
And that's interesting you would say that, because I had the opportunity of meeting a really wonderful lady named Amy Ferriman. And Amy Ferriman, I met her around Christmas, and we were wrapping books at Barnes and Noble. And she told me she's doing a documentary, and that she had done documentaries all through South Omaha and the like. And so we actually met over there for lunch the first of the year. And she has this documentary that, she matter of fact, she died on Saturday. But this documentary, she did get a chance to complete this one. And the owners of that particular Mexican restaurant where we had lunch told her how they got put on, if you will. That's our, how'd you get put on? How'd you, and how she went to all the other different people peppered up and down 24th and asked them, how did you start? I mean, look at what you do. And this is the restaurant next to the huge pottery shop. If you go down 24th, it's like the pottery, we can fit in it. They pointed to a little bitty, small, looked like it was closed, door. And it was a building, and it's next to the restaurant. So she went in there, and she asked them, guess what they are? They're a little bitty, the only out of all of that, 501c3. And they funded them.
Wow.
Wait till that documentary comes out.
Wow.
Little bitty, look closed door, look, only thing there looks abandoned.
Yeah.
And they're little bitty 501c3. And everybody up and down that block was able to get some type of funding. And that's why they're all. So we need a funder that had little bitty and learn from that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm a 501c3, and like luckily though, we end up running around almost $75,000 for training. With that money though, every dime of that was for training, because we end up training 150 people with like 3 different type of certificates.
Tell us about that. What was the training?
It was when the lowest crime rate was possible here in Omaha. All summer, kind of like when my funding ran out in August, man, folks just went back to doing what they do, I guess. But all like, let's say April, May, June, and
Mm-hmm.
July, we had this funding going on. And instead of giving us the money, they was like, "Well, we just pay your invoices." So
Okay.
we running class after class
What
after
did they get trained
class,
in?
right there at OSB.
What? What type of
40-hour has whopper,
Okay.
8 hour lead safe practice,
Okay.
12-hour OSHA, and then we have business plan writing classes. So for the entrepreneurs, so they ended up with like 4 certificates, just out of just the money that I was given, and then all of a sudden it got just snatched away. Bing, like synergy money over with, is program done. I was like, wow, we just got started, man. What happened? It's just like here no more. Every time a trade
So,
school.
do you think that that was some kind of I mean, like
Yeah.
they say everything's a conspiracy.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
conspiracy.
yeah.
Because
Ain't no
too many people
conspiracy
was,
here in Omaha. They just straight out tell you no, and it's over, and you be like, okay.
straight back
Yeah,
into the.
okay, yeah.
Wow.
It's just we was training more folks than I guess the folks on the corner was workforce development or whoever. All them folks
Hmm.
around here, man. I got folks coming in at 6 in the morning. They leaving at 5. They leaving with some certificates.
And
They
how did
leaving
the people
feeling
feel? I
good.
mean, were they coming in
Proud.
like, oh man, I can't take this. This
No,
is complaining, and
no, none of that.
so it gave
None of
them
that.
something. So that hope and it
Yeah,
all
that
that. So all they
hope.
need is a chance.
That hope, boy, that hope I was giving him, man, I should have
Mm.
ran for mayor right then and there. I probably have got him, you know.
Mm.
So,
Let me ask you about this here. So with all of these projects that are going up, what happens that none of the minority contractors are in on them? I mean, do they bid for it, or and they're
yeah,
just they lose the bid, or is it some type of all of a sudden you turn around and you pop up and it's up, or
it's
how is
up.
that? Because
All right, let me tell you about that. All right, for instance, like say the Walmart that's getting ready to be
right.
built on 56 and Ames or somewhere up in that area. Okay, a year ago or so, we was up at Turning Point when I guess this was being presented to NONA, North Omaha Neighborhood Association,
Mm-hmm.
about we're going to try to put a Walmart up here in the old Baker Square and all of this. Okay, so I attended the meeting and I was like, hey, I'm the president of North Omaha Contractors Alliance, and you're building east of 72nd. It's kind of like my territory. You can't keep building east of 72nd without no minority participation. So they was like, okay, okay, you got a business card? I was like, yeah. Here they said, okay,
Mm-hmm.
when it's getting into the planning stage, we'll make sure you get a set of plans. I just been calling the folks all week, like, where the plans? Oh well, we got to get to the general contractor to see about it's. It's already once you select the general contractor, then it's pretty much over with. So just like with this CSO program, $1 billion program,
Mm-hmm.
that if you look on the bottom of your water bill, you see a little
Right.
extra money.
Right. Right.
Just with that, when it first came out last year or so, we was getting to do curbs and driveways and gutters and stuff cement wise. We
Mm-hmm.
was getting a nice piece of that project. Now it's down to just erosion control.
What is erosion
That's
control?
the grass. Planting grass.
The grass.
Yeah, yeah. See, I roof, I paint houses, I weatherize home, but with the city of Omaha, all I could do is
So
plant grass.
what can be done about that? I mean, what if you're talking about we're gonna leave the we'll bring the Charlies along or the
Mm-hmm.
elders along,
Right.
but we're gonna be at the forefront. We're gonna galvanize
Right.
those that are gonna go forward. What do we need to do? What is the action? What can we do?
The action is just like every other company here. You see those guys standing outside, shame on such and such.
Yeah,
We got to
yeah.
start picketing. We all nonviolent stuff. We got to protest. We got to picket. We got to pop up on these job sites. We got to try to shut all this down. We got to let them know, hey, wait a minute, man. We live here. If we can't help build it, we'll never be able to help buy into it. And Walmart is not a solution. Walmart, I was told by one of your public officials, Oh, it's bringing 250 jobs. Man, I'm not about to go tell none of my kids grow up and work at Walmart. That's just a job. And then out of them 250 jobs, 2 months later, anybody from that area still ain't going to be working there due to some kind of complications. That ain't the problem. That ain't no answer for nobody. We need careers. We need stuff like to build things, to big careers. That's why so many single baby mamas crime and stuff because the baby daddy, he's ashamed now because he can't support them. So he rather leave them than stay in there and eat top ramen noodles at night. When your lights get cut off, go get a Dollar Tree and buy some candles. See, that's the difference between me and a lot of other folks. I've been there. We eating top ramen noodles. We lights out. I got to get up at 5 in the morning to go to Labor Ready to get a day labor job. I save up 3 days to get the lights back on. 3 more days, you know what I'm saying? See, all this kind of stuff like that don't even have to happen because there's so much work out here. There's so much to be done. And they let other people from Philadelphia and Chicago and all these other places fly over, say, oh, Omaha to look good like this. Then we all meet somewhere at a high school on Saturday morning. We tell them all our ideals. Like, for instance, Adam Park, right up here on 30th and next to the Malcolm X birth site. Now, my whole deal, since they started this whole villaging thing or whatever, is let's make that our water park, our theme park. Let's hire kids.
That's a beautiful thing.
4 little restaurants up there, teaching kids how to cook, hiring kids all summer long.
Like a Great America.
Yeah.
That's what I used to work at.
Yeah, in the winter, ski down the little hills,
tobogganing.
But had the little restaurants open and all that.
Right.
I've been putting that on my number on it and big black magic markers and all of that. So then, now this stuff materialized. I see Gallagher might have a little pool here. Miller got little things. And then one of my things is Malcolm X birth site should be stores up along in there. And it should be an amphitheater where schools can come and have field trips out there, and just man, tourist attraction. Bring the tourists here and all.
And I understand what you mean about the Walmart deal. What happened is that with Walmart, a lot of people, when I lived in the rural areas and I did a lot of child protection in the rural, they would protest on the front end. They're like, we cannot get it in here because once they do, our businesses that we have, our tire business, the nice little guys who helped me when my car went flat, that's on
16th and Locust.
Off of they're off of 24th. Older gentlemen, two black older
Austin.
Gentlemen.
Yeah,
right there.
Been serving the community for 60 years.
$5 to get your tire. It's cold. They
and they both 80.
180, respectfully.
Yeah.
They said, sit in the car, baby. I'm like, no, I don't want to sit in the car. It's cold. They change. Wow, $5. There's a bunch of people there. They're going to be displaced, more likely than not.
All the mom and pops around here.
And other people, they get displaced by the Walmart. But speaking of Walmart, I wound up, and like you said, we have to do what we have to do. I worked for Walmart all of a week and a half, and that was last summer. And they hired me for a display, whatever. My job was supposed to be where I was going to set up these new items like stevia. It's a natural sweetener. And I was supposed to make it aesthetically pleasing for the consumer and then come back the next day and see how many units with this little handheld deal was sold. Well, they were doing that project for about, 4 months. And being the president of a nonprofit, you know how they ain't paying no money. They hold on to the grants forever. So I had to take me a little job. So I was like, that sounds good. Right up from the house. I go in there. And I did that for about a week. And I was, okay. And I'm working nights, right? Working 10 to whatever, 7 in the morning. Do what you got to do. And so I come in one night and I see, now, mind you, there was only 2 blacks there. One guy who's been there for a while and me. No, there was 3. And one young lady that was about 17 or 18 in my training class. And I see a busload of black people. And when I was like, wow. And they had on the same little blue, you wear a blue top and some khakis and some sneakers. I was like, wow. And then they walked in, they're like, hey, you better go over there and get your knee pads. Knee pads. Knee pads? What they talking about knee pads? I see them, they strapping on their knee pads and these is new ones. Charlie's. These is new ones. I said, I don't care if they old or new. Ain't no knee pads for nobody. So we get into the room and they were like, yes, tonight we will all be in here. And I'm looking around the room. They're all African Americans.
Wow.
And there was a lady, I don't know what nationality she was, but her grill was really messed up. But she was up there and she was saying, well, we got, Helen, she's from this, area where they turn around, hello. Like, whoa. And I still have not taken my knee pads, mind you. Now I'm with the young black girl. She's about she was 19 because she just had started college, and her grandma and mom waited. She had them thrown over her shoulder like, what's this about? I was like, I'm not even taking none. They take us all out to the open area, and all of a sudden, all the African American people drop down on the floor, and they say, you got any, they had nothing else. They had some little rags or whatever. They said, you have some tinfoil? We can't bust open any of our product to clean the floors. I said, like, oh my Lord,
Oh, man.
I'm laughing, but I'm like, oh Lord. And so and I will give him the title Mr. Charlie, not just Charlie. He said, that's all right. I got some penny. I can get it up with this. This is copper. And he started scrubbing the floor like this here, getting up like the dirt or whatever. And I'm the gum or whatever that was on. And I'm there. And so the overseer comes to me. And I'm like, I said, madam, this is, like 5761, and I was hired under 3011 code. I'm supposed to be doing display over there. And I saw my other counterparts, Caucasian counterparts, they were still doing display. They over there checking the thing. I'm like, I'm over with what is this here? I said, this is not, this is what you can do. You can take, aisle one, lane one, and they told the 19-year-old young lady, you can take like 3. Y'all can be in the same lane. This young lady, I'm talking about, just well-mannered, beautiful, whatever. 19 years old, just started school here. She looked at me, she said, Miss Helen? I said, yes. She said, this looks like some slave shit to me. And I looked at her because she was so poised. I was like, it is, dear. It is. And I mean, I went to the powers that be. I said, pardon me. I said, this is housekeeping. Man. What are you doing? We're doing this because da-da-da-da. I said, but I don't understand why. And I thought about this. I said, let me go to the bathroom. I went to the bathroom. I prayed. I said, God, whatever. And I heard
Moses
resign. I heard resign. I turned in. I didn't get my knee pads. I wasn't even getting the knee pads. Man. I turned in that little badge, and I was like, holla.
Yeah. Wow.
And the young lady with me, she's like, Miss Helen, are you? And Miss Helen is old and leaving, and no. And this was just last summer.
Wow.
So you go figure.
Wow. That's what I'm saying.
Not saying that they're going to do that on Ames, but I hope that they don't do that on Ames.
But that's probably just Walmart protocol.
But this is what I did read an article that said that Walmart has more of its employees on food stamps than anybody else out
eligible. There. Get a job. They actually get your food stamps. You good. Yeah. Man, I know this is ridiculous because we promote entrepreneurship, mom and pop stores, mom and pop restaurants, and that's just knocked that right out the box right there. Because, Walmart buying bulk. They can sell cheap. So, yeah.
What are we going to do about our community that, unfortunately, that have their felonies? I don't know if Walmart hires them or...
I know, huh?
I
train felons. Right. I do single baby mamas, ex-felons, all of that. Because entrepreneurship is the way some of them can only go. because they have to mark their little box and then they get
Right.
turned down. Yeah. So, it's just crazy, man. I guess, I don't know what's with Ben Gray and them and all of the rest of these folks, but somebody need to sit down with me on 24th and Lake, phone number 402-714-1205, and we need to really hash this out, or y'all got to go. It's
The
just
other
time
thing
to
is
turn
that
over.
there was actually a forum where they had all of the different personalities that are running for mayor.
Yeah.
And there were some like 6 or so, I think,
Yeah.
up there, whatever.
I was there.
What say you about them? I mean, are you interested in going to each one of them and sitting down and trying to figure out what's going on with that?
Listen,
what's up with
it's
that?
really they place to search and find me because I am the 501c3 minority. They get much money here in Omaha, $20 million grants here and there, all of this type of thing, using our status but not using our people. So no, they need to search me. I didn't like none of the mayor candidates, maybe one. And then now I'm hearing stuff on him. Like say for instance that Rafferty guy. Now he seemed like a straight shooting from the hip.
Oh,
Yeah.
Naggerty, yeah.
Him, whoever. Now him, I could figure. I kind of like come at me straight. Tell me, oh, you gonna get a little something. You just ain't gonna get what you think, but you gonna get a little something out of that whole thing. That's all I heard. The mayor and all of them, they use certain just little things like, I guess they want to say Empowerment Network and them is the voice of the community and all that.
What do you think about that? Because there have been a lot of discussion about
what voice? No, I'm the
Empowerment
voice. I
Network.
got 250 people from this area. I get out of my chair and walk around. I got cats that just, man, I'm ready to go back to jail. No, hold on. He like, man, it's cold out, man. I can't do this. I'm ready to go back to jail, man. I'm about to do something crazy. Hold on, I got this for you. I got this. See what I'm saying? No, they don't speak for nobody but them. I really, I attend a few of the meetings and things. I try to do all that because it's, but I don't know where some folks get off that these are the voices. Man, we got several different voices in our community.
And you know
it ain't
what?
just one. I ain't never seen one person do as much as I've done in 2 years with folks.
I totally agree with you, Houston, because that was one of the things that I went up to the candidates afterwards and I said that, your answers were still disheartening to me because for me, I don't, I've lived all over the United States and I've had different people of all different races and colors that are around me, but this is the thing that I have a problem with is why is it that a black person or African American, for those that get upset when I don't say African American, I was black.
Right.
That's the area I was in. But why do we have to go through a pass-through agency? None of my buddies ever went and they said, well, you know what, I got to go through the Caucasian Unity agency before I can go to my mayor or my governor or my whatever because we all met on a Saturday or Sunday or whatever and I got to go through them first. And I actually took offense to actually scheduling an appointment at City Hall and they asked me, did I go through the Empowerment Network? I was like, how dare you?
Where is it at? Yeah.
How dare you? I think the Empowerment Network, and this is what I think about all agencies. I think that there are people that have good stuff and do good things, and they do it for a reason, and that you can go to these different organizations, and you can go there and find positive out of that, and take it with you. And you can join the, whatever it is, if that's what you choose to. But the elected officials have to look at that as that is just but one interest group.
Right.
Like they have lobbyists that is coming to us. And everybody else also has a voice. And if Jane or John or Jane Doe show up by themselves with a fork through their head, they get to come in like anybody else, and see that's where I have the problem. I say Empowerment Network. Whomever goes, I think good.
Yeah, I like.
I go to some of their deals too.
I like
but I should not be precluded, and neither should our young people be precluded from if they want to start their own agency or go individually.
Right.
No one should be turned away. And that's the problem that I have there.
Because me myself. I deal with gang bangers. You
Right.
know, I deal with folks don't want to go back to jail, want to go to jail, don't know if they want to do. I give them hope. I give them insight, something
Right.
to do physically. They're at my building. We train them. Man, you be here at 6 in the morning, man. You get up. You don't want to go to school. And then I need to tell you, too, we need to get back together with our dog thing, our dog, because I'm gonna have an opportunity to train some young guys, and I felt this would be the perfect time for me and Helen to get in there, train them, teach them how to build a wall, teach them how to build a house, and we donate the first one to the Humane Society.
Oh, very good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
that's right. And I'm connected with them.
Okay.
And one thing I do want to say about you, Houston, is that you are, out of all of the 501c3s that I've worked with and, been vice president of, and this, that, and the other. Excuse me, because at one point I was the vice president of
That's
of
my
NOCA.
advisory council committee.
Right. Yes. And because my calling was for the young ladies, and I
Right.
had to, not be everywhere
Right.
or whatever, that you and I have remained friends.
Right.
That
Right.
we work together.
Right.
That you have
Right.
backed me, and you are so real. What you say, and a lot of people they don't.
Yeah.
If we don't, if things we really don't agree on, like I don't really want to
I'm
do
gonna
that,
let
whatever.
you know.
It's like
I
I'm
don't
gonna
like
let
what's
you know.
going on in North Omaha.
Exactly. But this is the thing that I want to say about you also is that regardless of what goes on out there, okay, because you are a person that is still going to embrace the masses. We had a weatherization deal where all of us, and I would have never ever gone to anything. I'm going to say, Houston will make you wind up in a hard hat and whatever. There I am. You going to take the class, huh? Yeah, we all going to take the class. There we are taking the class, and I'm certified.
And you
as an
graduated
installer.
with honors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even though there were people in there that had come in there through some other hook or crook kind of a way,
right.
we embraced them, got them trained or whatever.
Still
So,
training.
One of the things that I want to do, we didn't get anything from the nephew. He just sat over there.
Oh
and just
yeah,
sat
he
there,
worked
but
the
he-
board for
I
us.
said-
I actually got something to say since the last 5 minutes.
No, we have a little bit more because we started late.
Oh,
We'll be
okay.
fine. But you're here, right? And so this is your uncle, right?
Yeah.
And so what do you think about it? Where you come in here from? What? L.A.
Yeah, I'm in Los Angeles. But one thing I learned about this whole conversation y'all been having is each one need to teach one.
Mm-hmm.
And don't never work for no place that got knee pads.
Or hand you knee pads when you come in. It's like,
Oh man.
people drop the knee pads.
Yeah,
Don't do
yeah,
it. Don't go for the knee
yeah.
pads. Don't go for the knee pads.
Right.
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 But one thing that I do want to say is that you have with this because I'm interested still in this part. We've got some time here. I'm interested in the part on what are we actually gonna do, because that's one thing when I say people say, oh, this and that, but what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
And a lot of people say, it's too late. Like you said, it's too late when I got the general contractor.
Yeah.
What can we do not only once we see it go up,
Yeah.
but what can we do on the front end? Like, should we be at the legislative
Yeah, that's-
session? Should we
oh,
just
yeah.
all of a sudden just have
Oh,
a
yeah.
work action?
No,
or
yeah, you're right.
protest? I mean,
You're right.
I'm
See,
just trying to figure
yeah.
out what can we do now.
Right, and see that's where I come in, because like I don't never rest, I don't never sleep, because I've been on that. I be doing that. I'm still fighting, like with the contractors licensing ordinance. We got LB 108 on the table now. A friend of ours, the Chatelaine,
Yes,
John
excellent,
Chatelaine,
and landlord.
and the Landlord Association. We all to go to Lincoln. We all been fighting this for about a year now. So it's like it's a never-ending fight. But the fight is we got to just come and stand up. Each organization connect with each other. We're 7 of us on one block. We don't know. Hey man, you getting $20 million here to do a project. You doing one in Council Bluffs. One of them organizations on the block did a $20 million apartment complex in Council Bluff. But you in Omaha on 24th Street and you got a $20 million deal in Council Bluff. What's
How
the
did we
irony
find
in all
out
that?
about that on the front end?
I found that out on the back end.
That's
just
what I'm
like
saying.
just like the housings on 25th and Blondo, I was given a set of plans, and we did try to bid it out, but then we just wasn't. None of our bids was except for, like, say for instance, Perkins and Lund Ross. You know, Lon Ross doing great things out here. He's one of the major players, you know, as far as construction. And I noticed Perkins and Perkins is getting some work and stuff like that. You know, the rest of us, we got to sit here and just put in a bid and hope we get to, you know, you can't go too low because then you can't pay nobody. Then you
can't do the job.
Then you get kicked off. Then you look bad. Yeah, so.
Right.
I'm just fighting all of that right now. I got people. I need people to stand up. We got to connect. We got to put in together block grants. You know, like they use the same block grant money every year. I've been applying for the last 3 years just to turn into, like I said, Adam Splash is what I wanted to call it. You know, and just turn that into a place where every summer and during winter, kids have a place to come to work. You ain't got to worry about summer job. You know, you got a place to come. You got a place to have fun. You off the street. You out of harm's way. We're police ourselves. We're cook. We're lifeguard. We're trained. We do all of that there, and I never get nothing, man. Every time my stuff just get took, and I just pop up all over the place.
And one thing that I did learn from, because you know I don't tell people about this too much, but I was actually, when I was in the legal world, like I told them I'm not going to talk about that too much, but I actually, you know, was trained by the mob.
Yeah.
And one thing that they told me, they said, you know, win or lose selling, but don't come back here with nothing.
Right. Fish, hey.
You know, come back here with something. But the other thing that I learned is that sometimes you can't go into the same arena and boxing match and swimming pool.
Oh yeah.
You know, you have to. I don't know what branch of the military were you in?
The Navy. Yeah. I got kicked out of Navy SEALs. Wasn't my psychic valve? Yeah, they was like, at this time you're a potential hazard to yourself and the unit, so we're gonna
leave you out.
Yeah, but I did some training.
They say the Marines come in like boop, 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 they come in. You might have. The whole thing is that for this, our think tank and our planning may have to come from outside in, because if there are certain laws and policies and procedures that are not there, either the powers that be are going to wind up playing by the rules from, you know, like they say, let's play nice in the sandbox, but by the rules in the sandbox, or we're going to have to bring in others where the sandbox is closed for everybody. Because if we're sitting here observing this, and like you said, it hasn't changed, and we're going to close in a minute, because what I want to get from you is that just some words of wisdom and some observations. Now we have the crime, you know, big time crime, everything. And what are we going to do about that? What are your end words?
My end words is I'm having a meeting March 11th, 2013, 2505 North 24th Street on the corner of 24th and Lake, OSBN at 6 p.m. Be there, because this is where we're going to start our plan of attack and action.
What's that date again?
March 11th on a Monday, 2013 at 6 p.m. on 24th and Lake at the OSBN building.
Give us your name and contact information, anybody in the whole thing, so they can have that.
Houston McKell, Houston McKell, all lowercase, one word, at Yahoo. That's my email address. Phone number is 402-714-1205.
And they can find you at the OSBN.
OSBN on 24th and Lake. We starting a plan of action. The congressmen, these city councilmen and all that, we even thinking about a Bruce Hunter backing him in this ring.
Okay.
Against our councilman Ben Gray in District 2. We need a change. We need new things going on around here. Come get at me.
Thank you, Mr. Houston.
Thank you, ma'am.
Noka, thank you, nephew. And this is Lizzie Live signing off. And this show was dedicated to Amy Ferriman. Peace, Amy.
Peace.